Seven Nation Army couldn't hold me back.
Welcome to the Heat versus the World podcast. And now, stand up and make some noise for your host, Joel Jacob.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Heat vs. the World. Like always, I'm your host, Joel Jacob, and with me, I got my guys, Alex and Kevin. And man, we got a lot to talk about because we got so much going on within, the NBA universe right now for the Heat. And let's just tap right into it, right? Because in case y'all didn't know, yesterday, at least, while we're recording this episode, the Heat went into the lottery, and I heard a lot of buzz, right? I heard a lot of people say, "Oh, you know what? NBA, they finna do us good. They finna get us the number one pick. This, and that." And no, I mean they literally ripped the Band-Aid off for us, like literally not even a full minute in, and told us we was picking 13th. And I can't even say anything about us getting that pick, because I think we had like a 98% chance of picking there. So I'm not pissed. I really am not, because I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, well, the NBA was finna do this and that, because we didn't we didn't get the proper quote unquote justice for us not, getting the compensation we deserve for that whole Terry Rozier situation." And the thing that I need people to understand is y'all can just read what's below my name. The NBA hates us, and we just got to deal with it and move on. All right. Now I'm not. Oh, you got something you want to say, Alex?
No. You had cut out. I don't know if you cut out for Kev, but like you had said, you got to read what's under my name. The NBA hate.
Oh, my bad. But see, the NBA is censoring me right now. The NBA is censoring me, y'all. So the NBA, they hate us, and we gotta deal with it and move on. Because let me tell y'all something, all right? I'm not saying the lottery is rigged, and we're not finna get into that whole debate and stuff. But even if it was, bro, they not helping Miami get anything, bro. Like, come on, y'all gotta understand something. We be out here putting on 5-star classics in the play-in every year. Y'all think they want us to make it out the play-in? Like, we out here putting 5-star classics. It don't matter who we play in the play-in, bro. We always gonna go out there and we gonna put together this huge performance that's gonna have everybody tuned in. The NBA is trying to keep us in the play-in basement, bro. They not trying to have us escape. Every time we try to get out there, they're going to somehow shut the door on us. All the other teams, they can leave because they usually get blown out and whatnot. So they don't care about them. But us, we know how to put on bangers every time we end the play-in. So they like, y'all can't leave. Like, how we going to get good ratings for this play-in and stuff? So because of that, this is why we in the position that we're in. Okay, so do not expect no first round pick, no number one pick, or none of that stuff, because the NBA needs us to be mid so that we can continue to put elite content. I like Adams. Oh, hello? See, I'm telling y'all, they censoring me. They censoring me, bro. Where did I stop?
It stopped.
Oh my gosh.
It stopped what you said because the NBA needs us, I think. And then it just froze again.
Yeah, but like the NBA, they need us to like put on these 5-star classics. And I think people got to understand that. They need us to do what we do. So, y'all can't be mad because that's the business model Adam Silver got put together. So, I can't be mad at the player, be mad at the game. They gonna get their money regardless. Meanwhile, we gonna keep getting screwed over, which is why the NBA hates us. And we need to deal with it and move on. So with that being said, we are selecting pick 13. But I want to know how y'all feeling after seeing what the lottery provided us. And we'll start off with you, Alex.
Yeah, man. Obviously, you're not really saying that I'm sad because the Heat never jump up or anything. So it is what it is. But I felt like that even if the NBA supposedly, like, basically told us, hey, like, yeah, just take this second round pick for Terry Rozier, but we got y'all on the back end. I think too many people in NBA media or whatever, and Florida media, too many people started saying, "Oh, the Heat deserves the number one pick. The Heat deserves the number one pick." Like the NBA can't have the spot be as hot as they was making it. Like obviously, with Luka getting traded to Lakers last year, and next thing you know, miraculously the Mavericks get the number one pick. Like it would have been real fishy if all right that happened last year, and now this year people talking about something. Yeah, the Heat deserve the number one pick, and then oh snap, voila, the Heat get the number one pick in or a top 5 pick in the draft. Look at that, and then everybody would have been like, oh okay, this is why they let them get that because of Terry Rozier or whatever. So like I'm not surprised. I mean, honestly, I don't think they're gonna whoever they pick at 13, I don't think they're gonna end up on the Heat, but that we'll talk about that later.
Right. Kev, how about you?
Man, first and foremost, let me say I'm so glad to be back talking to y'all. It has been a minute. I have not been around. I've been busy, but I'm glad to be back. I know it was a lot going on between Bam dropping 83 this year, Keyshawn winning the dunk contest. I know it was a rough season getting sent home by the Charlotte Hornets in the play-in, but it is what it is. To your question, though, we got to, kind of what Alex said, we got to understand that the league was never going to help us out in regards to that Terry Rozier situation, bro. Like I know we thought we would get some type of, compensation or whatever the case may be to make up for it, but it just wasn't gonna happen. I was not holding my breath for that whatsoever. I just knew it is what it is. And especially in regards to this draft class, bro, the NBA is trying to cater to Cam Boozer, AJ Dibansa, and Darren Peterson. Point blank period. They trying to make sure that those 3 names are getting to the right spots and right locations for the future of the league as a whole. Because this is a pivotal draft class, I believe, in NBA history. I don't think it's going to end up being the best. Like some people are saying, it's going to rival 2003. I'm not going that far, but it'll be up there, I think, in due time. But for me, I mean, look, the 13th pick, it's got some names attached to it, right? Obviously, RP Kobe went 13, Bam went 13. I believe Donovan Mitchell went 13.
Tyler too. I think Bam was selected 14th.
14. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. So flip it.
Yeah, Bam was 14.
Okay, yeah. So Bam was 14. Tyler was 13. I always get that mixed up. Granted, they wear each other's number, I guess, but whatever. Yeah. So you have some names attached to it, but I mean, I think they got options. They're obviously, of course, going to use the pick. As Alex mentioned, they never trade up. They always stay the same. And I think with the Heat, too, like once they identify a player, they're just locked onto him. And the only way they're going to shake off that player is if it's a clear, talented dude that hasn't been selected on the board still, right? So we'll see. I'm not mad at it, but me personally, I got my sights on a whale that's from Greece. So we'll talk about that in a minute, though.
Right. And we got our guy K joining us real quick. K, can you just say something to us so we know where your camera at?
Yo.
Okay, there we go. Bet. So with that being said, bro, we just talking about how the NBA hates us. They're never letting us get out the play-in purgatory basement. So no point of trying for number 1 pick. And with that all being said, what's your opinion on us getting number 13 as we go into this draft?
I mean, it's cool. It's a deep draft. I've been feeling that way for a minute. The Miami Heat always maximize their draft picks. If they make the pick, I trust they'll get a guy that'll be able to help. There's a lot of those guys in this draft, but it's almost good in a sense that they got 13 in my mind. They hear me out because it's like I don't have to face the struggle of wondering whether we should trade a top 4 pick or not. It's 13. Trade that hoe.
Yep. I mean, and I'll say this because I remember we be talking about this in the group chat all the time, even if we can't get on the pod. I mean, Alex, I think it was you sent the poll in the group chat the other day, right? It was like, would you rather trade the pick or keep it and draft the player if it's a top 4? And and I think we all know who the player in question is that we trade the pick for, right? I know it was Kev, you hinted at it. And
LeBron
that's
James?
huh?
Is it LeBron?
Hell no.
I'm just fucking.
Listen, man, but like I think, but we all know who that player is, and with all due respect, it's like I can't imagine trading top 4 pick for a guy, even if it's his caliber. Which is why, I said it in the group chat, and I'll say it here, bro. Maybe it's my religion getting the best of me, but it's like God is gonna do His thing, and He gonna tell us what we should do in this draft. All right, if we get a top 4 pick, then we should keep it. If not, then that's God's way of saying just trade it and go get Giannis. We all know who that player is. With that being said, bro, we went and we got 13. God said this ain't really the draft where y'all should really just go for it, try to invest in another player. Just go give that pick up to Milwaukee, and y'all gonna be good. Go get Giannis and move on. If it's his will, of course, because too much trauma I've dealt with some of these trade sagas we've been involved in the past. But because of all of that, let me ask y'all this. Is there any players specifically y'all got y'all eyes on if Miami was to miraculously keep this pick? Kev, you're usually our college guy. Like, any names you got in mind?
Yeah, I told y'all before I jumped off, I'm still on the LeBaron Philon bandwagon. I was on that last year. Again, he went back to school as a sophomore and had a great season, I thought, especially, changing roles. He went from essentially just being like an option to being the guy this year at Alabama, and I thought he had great success, especially you watch his last game. They played against Michigan. Obviously, Michigan went on to win it, and he had a hell of a performance in that. I just think he's a shifty guard. He's kind of from the SGA mold. I don't want to say he's SGA because obviously that's like the easy comparison nowadays. He's the best player in the league, but you got options though. Adai Mara's out there. I know we have bigs, but I definitely think that's a big man that is going to be a huge impact type player, like defensively. And there's a few other guys.
Is that the guy from Santa Barbara?
Nah, he's from Michigan. That's the 7-footer from Michigan.
Oh, okay, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Marez Johnson's another one who went to Michigan as well. Just played his sophomore year there. He's like a 6'9" power forward. He's another dude I would for sure know that the Heat are scouting him just because of the way that he plays. He's super tough, competitive, physicals. I don't know what. His jumper's improved a lot over the last 2 years. So that's what I'm saying. I think the 13th pick is an interesting one just because you got so many different options that you could go. But you never know. As Kate mentioned with the Heat, they always looking for a dude that they can just maximize their potential with and somebody that can build with. But I don't know. I think it's interesting. I don't know where they're leaning. Like, are you thinking backcourt? Are you thinking perimeter? Are you thinking front court? I think the front court is probably the least of our concern with Bam and Khalil down there. But after that, I mean, you got a variety of different ways you can go. So I'm curious to see how they're looking at it. So we'll see. It's plenty of options, though.
I kind of feel the same way as Kev. I mean, thick along the big man selection, but when you look at the wing or the guards, you can pretty much stay in the ad either way, and it wouldn't be wrong. Philon, what was like 22, 5-5 this year, close to those numbers. I like him as a prospect as well. Another guy that interests me, I hope I'm saying it right, is Michael Brown, junior, 6'5" point. What's the name, Kev?
Michael,
yeah, 6'5" point, Louisville, right? I like him. He interests me. Nate Ament is the name that stand out to me. I love his physicals. I love his athletic ability, his skill set at 6'10". A lot, and you don't know who's going to be available in that range because, like I said, it's so deep that like the names, like anything from 7 to 15 is probably hard to call. It's just about who the team wants. And if you, I haven't seen the latest, but I'm sure he'll be available in that 13 range. You could even think about trading back from him. I said this earlier in the season, and I say it again. That boy from Florida, is it How? But that dude, I like that dude. I really like his tools. So a guy like that, I think a big dude with a sizable, lengthy dude with a good skill set is what they should be looking at. And whether you're talking about Philon, whether you're talking about Brown, whether you're talking about the guy from Florida, or Ament, I feel like you're getting, really good positional size and a good skill set to go along with it.
For sure. And then, Alex, is there any names you got in mind?
I really ain't got nothing. I don't really be following college basketball because I coach in college, so I don't be having time to watch college games for real. But I mean, out of the names that have been said, Nate Ament is kind of sort of from Virginia. He's from Northern Virginia. A friend of mine was his high school coach, so it'd be cool to see Nate in a Heat jersey, knowing that the first time I saw him, I think he was a freshman playing against a kid that I recruited to my old school that I was at, and I remember that joker had like he was like 6'8" as a freshman and had like 35 that game. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was parents in the stands yelling for him to pass the ball because they was mad because they kids was older kids on the team, and everybody was giving him the ball for him to cook. And I remember I'm just sitting there watching that young man cook, and I was just like, yo, like, why are they saying he need to pass the ball? Nobody on the other team can stop him. And now he's in freaking mock drafts and everything. So, man, I'm excited for Nate, I guess.
Hey man, listen. If you can some way somehow, if you got the connections and you able to recruit bro to the pod, like by all means, bro, just send a word. Let's try and make that happen.
What if Nate got drafted to get him on the pod?
Yeah, bro. Like, why not? You know, like let's see.
I can see if that ended up happening, then I could probably make a few calls and potentially get that to happen. I don't know.
So that's y'all teaser, all right? Y'all heard it here first. But
I would like to hear Kev's opinion on Ament and the stretch big from Florida.
Yeah, nah, I'm a big Nate Ament fan. A lot of people believe he's like the biggest wild card piece in this draft class just based off of the talent is so clear and evident, and the motor is kind of what holds a lot of people back. But I do think he's going to be one of those dudes where whoever drafts him, that GM or front office, either going to look like a genius or complete idiots. Like somebody's either going to get fired or somebody's going to get promoted based on Nate Ament. But to me, I think he's going to be a high level contributor. I just think, as you guys mentioned, 6'10". He does have a slender frame. Like he is close to that KD frame archetype. I want to make it clear. I'm not saying he's KD, but he has that archetype where he's just a bucket. Like he can just rise over you and fire and knock down shots. And I give him a lot of credit because he went to Tennessee. And if you know anything about Rick Barnes gonna push you. Rick Barnes gonna challenge you. So I do think him going to a program like that and accepting the challenge of being a 5-star player, having NBA draft buzz, being a 10-year plus veteran NBA type dude was key for his growth and development. So we'll see. I definitely think that he would love a dude like that. And then Thomas Hout is another one that I really like too. I just think he's just super active, and I think when you look at where the game is at today, he's one of those players.
I love that about him.
Yeah, he's one of them dudes where he's at or around damn near every possible rebound. He's blocking shots. He's switching, guarding 1 through 5 legitimately. Like he covers a lot of space, and he just does a little bit of everything. When he's on the floor, he's easily one of the most impactful players on the floor at all times, and you can never overvalue that or overlook that. So, yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with either. Now, another name I'll drop, two to be on the lookout for, I think is kind of a sleeper. Or it's two, my bad. Two names is Malik Thomas from Arkansas, who is like 50-50 and contemplating right now. I feel like he probably is going to end up back at school for some reason, but if he does stay in the draft, I feel like that's one dude where he might not be looked at as a lottery pick, but I definitely think he has star potential. And that potential obviously is the key word. Right situation can help out a lot with that. But we're just talking about the ability to put the ball in the basket. Like he averaged damn near 16 points per game playing next to Darius Acuff. So I think he could shine. Like if you haven't seen him, please go watch him because that's a dude that he's just wired to play in the NBA, in my opinion. And so I definitely look at him. And then my last name is Chris Knack Jr. out of Houston. And he was a highly rated 5-star type player, went to play for Kelvin Sampson. Probably didn't have the year that he expected scoring-wise, but I feel like that was kind of the knock on him was that he's really just a big that loves to shoot. But this year he proved that he can rebound the hell out of the ball. He defends at a high level, and he can score. Like the pick and pop, he can post up. He got a post game. So he just has a lot. I think that he would definitely be intrigued with him, especially for a dude that could potentially back up Bam. Like that would be a great contrast and play at your 4 spot. So like I said, man, it's going to be fun. He got a lot of interesting ways he can go and attack this. So we'll see, man. 13 pick is a pretty good one, in my opinion.
No, it is, especially in this draft. I do got a question. I mean, I know you say you're not into it as much, Alex, which is understandable because you're coaching. I guess Kev is the right dude to ask. On the fringes, because the Miami Heat like to take advantage of the fringes. They got a 2nd round pick too. Who are some guys on the fringes that may intrigue you a little bit? Because I got a couple of names that intrigue me a little bit on the fringes, Kev.
Throw out some names.
I think Toppin as a 2nd round experiment, very productive in college. Of course, he was hurt later down the season, but I think and especially him being a small, a small ball big, one of the Heat kind of guys. I think he'll be an interesting guy because I think he could be a productive right away in the league if you give him the opportunity. And I've also been hearing some buzz about the boy that was at Michigan, but he ended up at UConn, the big. He has no outside abilities, but as far as being a bruiser on the inside, I don't know if that's something that could be effective at the next level, but he does seem to interest me. Tari?
Terrence Reed Jr.
Terrence Reed, yeah, Terrence Reed Jr. Like
No, that's a
that.
good one.
So those two names along the fringes, as far as guys I've seen either connected to the Heat or kind of like what they do and how they're put together is Heat like interests me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I like that name, to be honest with you. I'd say another one too. I mean, I feel like he's kind of projected first round, but I definitely think he could be a second round pick just because it's a lot of good guards in this class. But Ibuka Okori out of Stanford is really freaking good. And he's an explosive, dynamic scorer. He had a game where he had like damn near 40 against UNC out there or up there in Palo Alto. So like he could score with the best of them, and he's just wired to go. And I feel like that's kind of my thing, man. Like I just want to I just want us to have a guard that I could trust to score the ball and facilitate. I feel like we either have one that does one of each really well, but never both in a complementary fashion or form. And since the Dragon, at least, right? Like the Dragon could do both at a high level, but we haven't had that in a minute. And nothing against Davion, but like Davion's a facilitator, but you're not really dependent on him to score like that. And he doesn't really have too much of a scoring bag. So
And real quick, also someone that does need like 50 screens to get a bucket.
yeah,
So that's neither here nor there.
exactly. So I definitely look at him, and man, it's a lot of names, bro. But yeah, I say he's one. Joshua Jefferson out of Iowa State began his career at St. Mary's, originally from Las Vegas, is really good. He's like a 6'8" wing. He's kind of similar to Jaime a little bit, where he's not gonna beat you like with just his handle or nothing like that. Like he's super creative with the jab steps, the pump fakes. Like he's very crafty in terms of getting to the rim, but he's also a hell of a passer too. Like he's a real deal dime dropper too. So I think he'd be fun. But yeah, you got names, man. Me personally though, I say like for both picks in the first and the second rounds, I mean, bro, like you got to look at LeBaron Philon, you got to look at Malik Thomas. Marez Johnson to me just screams Heat culture. But
How you feel about Lindenberg?
I like Yaxel a lot too. I mentioned it before we hopped on, before we went live. Like Yaxel at 6'8", 6'9", bro, physical specimen, can score from
real good skill set. Yeah,
high level finisher at the rim with either hand. Like he's just good. You've seen this year at Michigan, he was the straw that stirred the drink. So I mean, you can't. I keep saying it, but you just can't go wrong, bro. So
no, there's a bunch of prospects in this draft, bro. Like you're gonna get a player if you don't trade the pick. Point blank, period. You're gonna get a guy. I really am. Also, though, to your point, though, Kev, I think that we have a guy, and it's funny you mentioned Dragon because, of course, it's a natural, easy comparison. Forgive my delay a little bit, but I mean, I think Cass is gonna really show some things in this next year that's gonna really allow us to, I guess, look at him for what he truly can be as a pro. So I do think he's going to be the guy that offers that scoring and passing ability. I mean, because his jump shot this year was such a revelation for me. And his toughness, his tenacity. So I like him, but like you said, it's never you can't never go wrong by adding pieces, talent.
For sure. And then I just want to like tap in real quick because I ain't gonna lie, I don't keep up with college hoops like that. So that's why I always feel better when I hear y'all talk about it because I can never really do a mock draft or a quote unquote, figure out who the Heat should select because I don't keep up with it too much. But with that,
I'll tell you this, they mess around and took a core Pete. I would have to go see somebody because I feel like he's gonna get somebody fired.
I mean, shoot.
Yeah, I think he's one of them dudes where he's gonna be he's gonna withdraw at like a deadline. I forget exactly when the deadline is. I think it's before the end of this month. I want to say, but I definitely think he'll be back at school. So we'll see though, man. It's like you said, they usually have their guy way already identified before.
Oh yeah,
you could tell by how they draft that once they see a guy that they like, they just locked in. Unless again it's a clear best player available type situation. Then they already got their guy. That's why I said to me, if I'm just looking at it from like the Heat's perspective, like if I put myself in Andy Ellisberg's shoes or whoever else's shoes, Merez is probably the most obvious Miami Heat player in the draft, if I'm just being honest. Like, you guys can go watch Merez's highlights. He does everything you would expect a Miami Heat player to be. He was at Illinois. He's originally from Chicago. Came this year, went to Michigan as a sophomore, won a national championship. 6'8", 6'9", can shoot it. Like, he just does a little bit of everything. So, to me, that's a clear name. But for me personally, I want LeBaron Feiland or Malik Thomas. You can't go wrong with the dynamic guard, and I'm always going with that at any time of the day.
That's a bet. The boy from Texas too. He can't shoot, but his defense, his athleticism, his ability to drive the paint. The 6'8" wing from Texas. I can't quite remember the name. I'm sure you know him.
Dalen Swain.
Yeah. He looked heatish too.
Definitely. He's the intangibles guy, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I like Dalen Swain. He's originally from Ohio. I watched him when he was in high school too, but I need some bucket getters, bro. Like, I'm just
That's
being honest.
a fact.
I need some
agree.
dudes that could just score the rock, bro. It's too many nights where we watched this Heat team this year, and it was just like it was a struggle bus offensively, bro. It seemed like it was just no rhythm, flow, identity, and it was tough to watch.
But was that more a function of the offense or the players inside of it, though?
I think it's both. I really do. I firmly believe it. The system is okay, and that's another thing. I'm sorry, Joe. I don't want to go too far off, but like when you look at this current offense of the Heat, I really think that's going to be like the future trend in the NBA. There's no ball screen offense. Like, you're seeing certain teams are starting to replicate that. I think the Blazers do the same thing, and it's another team that I was watching. I forgot exactly who, but that's going to start to be a trend where it's just no ball screens, just moving the ball, cutting. OKC damn near does it, right? Obviously, Shea gets ball screens. He's the best scorer in the league, but
Atlanta do a lot of it too.
Yeah, you trying to get up and down. So I just think that's where it is right now. But that's a whole different tangent. But yeah, man, me personally, bro, like, stop. And this is my thing real quick as I land this plane. Stop going into these situations with the galaxy brain thinking and just go get whoever you feel like is the best player or your favorite player and just live with that, bro. Stop trying to go get these dudes that are projects. We don't know what they're going to look like in 2 to 3 years. It's like they're still trying out for the team. Are they there? Is Spo going to play him? Is it worth it? Like, bro, go.
So won't you just say Kaz and Nico, Cam? Like, you can say what you thinking.
No, it's not even at them either. Because
I'm just messing with you, bro.
Because y'all know how I feel about Nico. But it's like, bro, at the end of the day, you can have whatever you want to have, but you need talent, bro. Point blank, period. Talent still. Great coaches are made by great players. And you can make the case vice versa, Alex. I already know. I don't want to get you on your coach's tip. But I'm just saying, like, it goes either way. So go get talent, bro. Stop trying to have us just be a solid team with complementary pieces, but it's not enough talent, bro. The NBA is about talent, bro. The best players in the league, for the most part, is still playing in the playoffs today because they're nice. It's just that simple. So that's where I'll land my plane right there.
Well, I'm a nut. Here's where I'm a nudge back on you, Kev. Kev tried to tell me last week that Philly from top to bottom is one of the most talented rosters and just got swept. But I agree with him, though. If Joel on the floor, they body for body. They probably guy for guy. You look at those names, you know what I'm saying? I can't argue with them. But they did just get swept.
We gonna talk about them.
But yeah, man, I mean, there's a lot of names y'all just mentioned. And I mean, shoot, you know, we could tap into it more, but we got to look into this other reality, and that's none other than the fact that Miami might not even get the chance to select any of these players, and that's because we got this situation with Giannis going on, right? In case y'all ain't heard the news, Shams came out and he reported earlier today that the Milwaukee Bucks are open for business on trade calls and offers for two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo entering the NBA Combine and over 6 weeks away from the draft, sources told ESPN. So from the way how that sounds, we should maybe expect a trade from, I would say, maybe before the draft. Is that a fair guess to make? What y'all think?
Absolutely. I mean, that was inevitable. That's been inevitable for the last couple of weeks. I think Haslam actually came out and said it a couple of days ago in his press conference that we're going to try to get this business done before the draft. And that's just what makes the most sense, because you're obviously going to be looking at draft picks and you're still going to need to fill a competitive team and try to move on to your next era. So of course you would want to do it before the draft, so you'll know you at least have some control over the young guys that you're getting back.
Right. And overall, man, because the Bucks, they got a lot going on there. You have the fact that this Giannis situation. You also have the fact that the Bucks owner is dealing with God knows what. Y'all see the headline on the screen. I'm not gonna go too deep into detail because at the end of the day, we are a family friendly show, but very intriguing to say the least. So overall, man, it seems like, they got some stuff that they got to address, especially with all these other scandals they got going on. But yeah, I mean, I do want to ask y'all, like
That's a
when
real
y'all
Mike Vrabel situation, eh?
what listen, man, at least this person not an insider or anything like that, so because if they was with Shams or whatever, then I guess, but luckily it ain't that type of situation. But real quick, now that we've talked about the names that he could potentially draft, when y'all look at this situation with Giannis and the possibility of giving this pick up for the chance of getting to pair 34 up with Bam, getting that type of caliber talent on the squad, how y'all feel? Because like we just went through so many names. Does it bum y'all out by any means to know that there's a chance that we could just potentially not get any of them and instead end up with 34? Because let's not get it twisted, right? Giannis is a great player. We know that and all, but I know there is also a lot of guys out there that they want to see Miami, rebuild or quote unquote go on with that youth movement, right? Just simply focus on that instead of trying to go for, someone who's already 32 years old, someone who does have a bit of an injury history like Giannis. So where do y'all stand in all of this? I'll start off with you, Alex.
I am of the mindset that you go get whoever's going to help you compete as fast as possible. Uh, love young guys and all that. Love seeing the teams with the young guys develop and all that craziness. But no, we are if the Heat's a mantra or whatever is like we're looking to compete and try and maximize every single year, no matter who's on the roster or yada yada yada. All right, if that's what you want to do, go get the best players possible that you can get. So if that means you got to trade people to go get Giannis, that's what you do. It is what it is.
I mean, I couldn't say any better. And like, here's the thing, right? And I said this before we started potting, bro. Like, I look at this situation we're in. Like, we mentioned the fact that the Hornets got our pick, and that's important to acknowledge because, like, we can't have another year where, we finish mid or we barely, miss the play-in, or we make the play-in, but we miss it, right? Like, we don't end up winning the games and whatnot because, even though playing teams are going to get rewarded for at least making it that far, by getting a lottery pick, Miami's now in a situation where we don't even get to keep our pick for next year, so we don't even get to reap the benefits of at least, being a playing team because Charlotte's going to get our first round pick for that. So I look at that situation and it's like you want to go and try to compete for a championship now. So, if we want to push all of our, what's the term go? Push all our chips into the table and go for it. Like, by all means just do it because I'm just at a point mentally where it's like I feel like we've went after Giannis for so long now. Like this has been a saga that's went on since I want to say before the pandemic. Like before that, I've been seeing
2019.
exactly. Like we've seen this guy already signed
But
two.
but to that point though, and this is what a lot of people fail to realize, there has to be two sides to tango. The Miami Heat haven't just been obliviously going after him. That's because they've known since then or had inkling since then that this is probably something he wanted, which is what you've heard from multiple sources, whether you choose to believe them or not. And I would stand in that same line of whether I choose to believe them or not. But at a certain point, when you see smoke, there's some fire behind it. And in a lot of things that we've seen online, hear people talk, people that are in the know, friends of friends,
Right.
people's flunkies, people's worms that squirm across the floor when they say so. Like they've indicated that, Giannis has been telling Miami to come get him for quite a few years now.
That is true. And I will mention that, kid, because you know what? There's been guys Miami has tried to circle in on, but then they end up losing interest after some time, right? Like maybe they'll show interest if they back on the market, but it's not the same like how it's been with a guy like Giannis, right? And I mean, we see the way how the relationship works. I mean, in case y'all didn't know already, this is someone who got the same agent as Bam. There's also been some flirting for quite some time. I remember there was like headlines because like literally when the whole thing went down, where like Giannis, yeah, Shams came out and he announced that Giannis was going to not that he could have potentially got moved at the deadline. I seen people post like, oh, his mom apparently posted a picture of them at the Kaseya Center. Like it's all this stuff, and I'm not saying now the mama involved in this stuff too, but like it's funny to say the least, because like shoot, what type of timing is that, bro?
Like I always tell y'all, coincidence exists, but far less than we think it exists. A lot of the things that we see or that we hear or that we experience in life that we chalk up to coincidence, there's a reason and rationale behind it.
Yeah. So overall, I look at these things and it's like, shoot, like that brother low key just want to come to Miami. It feels like, but I ain't gonna get excited, because when I tell y'all that Dame situation broke me, like that actually did some fractures that y'all just don't see, because I'm so good at keeping it together for the most part. But with that all being said, like let me ask you, Kev.
Joe, you ain't podcasting 16 months. What you mean that you are good at keeping it together?
Well, listen, bro, I don't show it on camera though, so you
won't on camera. That's what you mean.
See, that's not the point right now, okay? We talking about Giannis. we talking about Giannis right now. But Kev, the floor is yours, bro. How you feel about this?
Go get Giannis, bro. Like, cut the BS. What everything that Alex said already, bro. Like, if bro's available, go get him. And of course, Kay always says yes, it takes two to tango. But I think now more than ever, it's more evident that he's not just trying to leave, but he has a certain destination in mind. And I'm not even saying that's us. I do think we are an option. I don't know if we're the first option, but I know we're an option. I firmly believe that. But at the same time, like, as I just stated, bro, you need top tier talent to be in these moments right now where we're watching the conference semifinals. You need one of these dudes, bro. You need a dude that could take you to these places. And he's already proven that by winning one in 2021. And we've seen him multiple times in the playoffs since then. And yeah, obviously we had the bodies to be able to guard him and different things like that, but it still took a complete team effort just to try and slow him down. So imagine him actually getting with Spo, who would, with all due respect, by far be the best coach he's ever had in his NBA tenure, and see where you can go with that and just figure it out. And so that's what I'm saying. And this is the other thing, right? Heat fans, we got this thing. It's not even just Heat fans, it's basketball fans or sports fans, period. But like we have this thing where we attach ourselves to these players because they got these good moments and things like that. But bro, if Giannis is out there, go get Giannis, bro. I don't care who has to go. If you got to send Tyler Hero back home to his crib, have a blast, bro. I'm sure he'd welcome that damn near, right? If you got to send Khalil, I know a lot of people don't want to do that. I'm all for it, bro. Because the chance of the chance of Khalil touching Giannis's levels is probably less than 10% with all due respect, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's just being honest. So I'm always under the impression, bro, if talent is out there, go get talent. And I understand. You can worry about fit. You can worry about system. You can worry about being a contender. But until you have one of those dudes, you're not going to be a contender. You're not going to mess with the Celtics. It pains me to say this, but you're not going to mess with the Knicks. And that's the other thing about it, too. Like, when we had Jimmy, it was a clear tier in the East between us and the Celtics. And then you had the Bucks like here sporadically, but why were the Bucks there? Because they just had Giannis. And they had Drew for a few years, and then obviously Chris Middleton kind of flamed out with the injuries and stuff like that. But I'm saying that to say now, more than ever, we usually always say the East is wide open. Bro, right now the East is so wide open, it's not even funny. Like, bro, the Raptors were a game away from being in the conference semifinals. Think about that. Going into the year, most people didn't even think they was a playoff team. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, just go do what you have to do. It don't even got to be Giannis, bro. It could be goddamn Donovan Mitchell. And I know Kay is going to say I'm crazy for that one. We could talk about that one later because I know we just talked about Giannis. But, bro, if the Greek Freak is available, if the chatter, we're seeing the chatter. And that's the other thing, too. You got to pay attention to the tea leaves before I keep rambling. Everybody's saying, oh, I heard the NBA draft lottery, Giannis might be going to Miami. Giannis is thinking about going to Golden State. If the rumors keep piling up, bro, go make it happen, bro. And if And that's
To
just
your
point.
point, Kev, they not just coming from nowhere.
Exactly. There, it's all. I know how it works, but that's what I'm saying, because they're finally. This is the first time where we've heard Giannis connected to Miami, and it's not just local sources reported. In my
Yeah,
opinion.
it's not us or the guys
Yeah.
around the organization. It's actually
Yeah.
being reported on a national. Okay, this is real level.
And so you could take the floor with that, bro.
I mean, and just to add on to that point, Kev, real quick, and I'll slide the mic to you, K. But I gotta like mention real quick when I talk about Giannis. I mean, when we brought Jimmy to Miami 2019, bro. I mean, look at that offseason, right? Because 2019 was a movie when you think of that summer and the amount of players that you saw changing teams, right? Who would have thought that Jimmy Butler, who arguably wasn't even the best player to change teams that summer, would have probably been one of, if not maybe the most impactful move that summer. Okay, because keep in mind, we saw Kawhi go to the Clippers, PG joining him, KD and Kyrie going to Brooklyn, and then the list goes on, right? None of the moves really, what's it called, really made an impact the way how Jimmy to Miami was. And now here all of a sudden we're in another scenario. And in this situation, at the time when you look at Jimmy, in my opinion, when you look at his time in Miami, I viewed him as a superstar. But when he came to Miami, you can make the argument that while he was a great player, he was not on that echelon where he was like considered a superstar, right? Can we all like agree with that for the most part? Because we knew he had the skill, but like we wasn't going to put him up there with like a KD or even like a Giannis, right? So, but now all of a sudden the Giannis is available. And hypothetically speaking, let's say you bring him here. Like a Matt, like you said, Kev, like him with a guy like Spo, to me, that's a huge deal. And the fact that he would be pairing up with a guy like Bam, that also means a lot to me because we saw what he did with the Brook Lopez by his side. He was able to win a whole championship with that type of front court. And I'm not going to say too much about that championship because, I've had opinions about it in the past, but none of that matters now if he's going to end up coming to Miami. Even if I do think that ring is a little fugazi, but that's neither here nor there. I look at that and it's like, okay, now replace Brook Lopez. Now add a guy who went and scored 83 points in one NBA game. Now you put that in the mix and that's your front court partner. All them things put together, like it really feels to me that we have the potential to compete. And shoot, like I said, I can't get my hopes up too much because the trauma is there, even if I do hold it all together nicely. But man, if you could get Giannis Antetokounmpo, bring him to this Miami Heat team and, pair him up with a Bam Adebayo, get him up with Spo, assuming the trauma from losing his house and all that other stuff is behind him. Like, I feel like that is a team that could truly compete for a championship. And shoot, I think, hell, maybe we could win a ring next season because I see a lot of people talking about, maybe we ain't going to have this, we ain't going to have that because of the pieces we going to give away. I don't know if y'all remember, but when the Dame situation happened, before the trade took place, people said, oh, you could get a Kelly Oubre, right? All these guys were going to be available for, the veterans minimums. I don't know who would be available that summer on a veteran minimum contract, but you can potentially bank on the fact that there would be guys knocking on the door trying to find a way to come to Miami for that veterans minimum once the spots open up when that trade goes through. So I'm not too worried about none of that. Just let's make it happen. Try to get a fair deal if possible, and let's go get that championship. Because, like I said, I need something to move on from the trauma. But all that being said, Kay, the mic is yours, man. What you think?
I'm not opposed to trading anything. Like I always tell y'all, I would rather, of course, but do what you gotta do to go get Giannis, man. If that's on the table, you do what you gotta do to go get him. I would also offer this. And like Kaz said, whether we get him or not, what the Giannis move is going to do is going to start a avalanche of other moves. And I feel as though there are going to be quite a few big name work phones ringing, guys. Forgive me. I feel like there are going to be quite a few big name guys on the move. I think you could probably see Donovan Mitchell move. You could see Jaylen Brown move. You could see Giannis move. You could see LeBron move. Like I think you could see KD's probably going to ask for a trade. Like there are going to be a lot of big names on the move after this Giannis deal is done. So yeah, while I want Giannis, just like Kev said to that point, go get talent. And I'm gonna shock you here, Kev. I wouldn't be opposed to getting Donovan Mitchell right now.
Wow. What? Breaking news. Why is that? What's the I won't say what's the change up, just what made you feel like that? What makes you feel like you wouldn't be opposed to getting D Mitch on his roster?
Because now the value ain't upside down. For me, you couldn't trade all that you would have had to trade prior to this moment to get him, for him to come and, similar results as has been in Cavs or Utah. Well, now that value probably on the trade market is going to decrease slightly. And I feel like with Bam's progressions, as a player and with some of the guys that you'll be able to keep in said deal, like he might be enough to push you over the top now.
I agree, bro. I firmly agree. I've always felt like that. I feel like, to me, and again, this gonna sound like an excuse, but I promise y'all it's not. Just hear me out, bro. When you look at his situation from Utah to now Cleveland, his second best scorer in Utah was probably Joe Ingles, right? I think that's fair to say. And then his second best scorer in Cleveland is, I guess, 36-year-old James Harden.
Did he have Royce O'Neal in Utah?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
So Royce was probably his second best, but that's still, I just wanted to, make sure we were being about that.
But yeah, for sure. So I'm saying that to say it's tough for me to judge his situation because a lot of the reasons that his teams were so successful in the regular season was because they were pretty good constructed rosters. Like, I don't want to just make it seem like the Utah Jazz were just terrible. They weren't. Obviously, Gordon Hayward was super nice before he got hurt and got up out of there. But when you get to the playoffs, when you get to these moments, you notice even last year was the most glaring, where D Mitch is carrying the offense on his back, bro. Like, to me, and again, this is going down a whole different lane, but like, y'all not gonna sit here and tell me that the Cavs, they got what, gentlemen swept by the Pacers last year?
Yep.
Bro, you only got in one game. That Pacers team was nice, don't get it twisted, but like, you couldn't win 2 games, 3 games. Like, you only got one game in, bro. And that's where I was like, okay, yeah, I can't trust Darius. I can't trust. And it's not to free up Donovan Mitchell, because D. Mitch has certain things that he needs to do better. He needs to be way more committed defensively. He needs to lock in on a few different things, taking better shots throughout the course of the game. But like I say all that to say is, like, bro, you put him in a competent situation. Again, I could say the same thing probably for him as I just did for Giannis when it comes to Spo being the best coach he would ever have in his NBA tenure so far. And I like Kenny Atkinson. Kenny Atkinson isn't terrible by any means. And Quinn Snyder's a solid coach too, but like,
they ain't Spo.
Exactly. So I'm just saying, bro, you put D Mitch in a competent situation, I promise you, he looks like he already does look like one of the best shooting guards in the league, but we're talking about him in a whole different stratosphere, bro. Point blank, period.
Yeah. I mean, and because of that, I mean, whether if it's D Mitch or Giannis, I mean, I look at some of these teams. I mean, I'm gonna ask y'all this real quick before we move on. Do y'all think there's any teams we should potentially be concerned about when we look into this potential saga that plays out?
I mean, honestly, that I feel like that depends on Giannis for real. Like, he can dictate the market because of the fact that wherever he goes, it's gonna be like, hey, we're sending a bunch of stuff out for you.
Are you signing or not?
Yeah, are you gonna sign the extension or not? Because of the fact, I know like the Portland Trailblazers stuff, it came out, oh, Portland might try and make a run for Giannis. Pair him up back with Drew Holiday and Dame, yada yada. And the Bucks might be interested in that because Portland has a bunch of their picks. So they'd be like, yo, we'll send you possibly like Denny and a bunch of our picks and another young guy for you to send us Giannis. And Giannis could basically look at them and be like, yo, I'm not re-signing with y'all. So if you do that, then that's on you. But I'm gonna just walk next summer. So in my opinion, like, the dark horse that I'm looking at, well, there's honestly 2, but they're in the West, and I think Giannis wants to stay in the East. But the 2 West dark horses are the Rockets and the Spurs. Those are the 2 teams where, like, if he gets his arm pulled and he's just like, you know what? All right, I'll go out there. I'll go to the Western Conference. Then those are the two teams you got to look at. But other than that, then I think we might be okay.
I would add this, man, because I would say the timing of it all is a benefit too. Like you look at a couple of teams, New York, again, we've talked about the intimations of what they would have to do, who they would have to move, whatever, to get the picks, the yada, yada, yada. We look at a team like Minnesota, you look at another team like the Spurs, all of those teams are still playing. Like they can't have but certain levels of honest conversation right now because how you going to entertain packaging dudes up that's still on the court playing in the playoffs for you? Like it's a hard, nuanced conversation to have. So I feel like we got a head start on a lot of guys because of that too.
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. I think the only team I would say that I kind of would be worried about is the Knicks. But again, as Kay just mentioned, bro, I mean, more than likely they're probably gonna end up being in the NBA Finals. And if you're the Knicks brass and front office, you're gonna have to contemplate, okay, do we want to run it back with this core because we just got there, or do we want to go out and get the Greek Freak and take a completely different jump?
And that's the second part, Kev. You already built it. Why are we going?
Yeah, and so I think that's the conundrum they'll probably have to face. On top of obviously we've heard Giannis's love and admiration for New York, whatever, but I don't know. I won't say I'm really worried about anybody just because I think we do have a good enough package.
Yeah.
I think we got essentially everything that you could ask for. You got the relationship between, if I'm not mistaken, him and Bam share the same agent. Is that still correct?
Yes.
So you have that in your favor too. So, and obviously, like I'm pretty sure, obviously, his agent has other NBA players too. But like little things like that could definitely work in our favor. So,
and we can't ignore the business, yo. Like you said, Kev, Tyler's from Milwaukee. So at the very least, and yes, Milwaukee did hate him because he chose Kentucky. But if he comes back, they will re-embrace him as being a Milwaukee kid. So there are just certain little nuances about our potential situation that, it just screams take it. Because like you said, whether you're talking Khalil, as much as I hate to say it, one of our young, impressive wings, Jaime or Pele, like those are guys that you could start to build back around quicker than unknown pieces.
Exactly. Facts, bro.
And I just gotta say, I'm just glad, like, so far I haven't heard anyone mention the idea of potentially sending Pella. Like, are we all on board with the idea that he could be untouchable in a scenario like this? I mean, I'm not saying that there should be like
untouchable strong, but I think they're gonna try to hold on to Jaime and Pele. But untouchable strong.
Oh yeah, that's because like shoot, I look at it and y'all mentioned a good point that I was trying to tap into real quick. I mean, shoot. I'm really, because you know what, I hate the Knicks with all my heart. I know we all do, but I'm like, shoot, they most likely gonna go to the finals right now, the way how this scenario looks. And it's like we've seen so many teams, like what they have done is that they've made it as far as possible. And it's like then they make a huge move and it potentially alters everything, right? What they once worked for, whether
it's more negative than positive.
Right.
It totally disrupts the chemistry.
Yep. And like I think about, because sometimes it's panic moves, right? Even though he's not on the same caliber as like a Giannis, I still can't help but think about what the Lakers did the summer after they won the championship, right? You know, like they went and they traded for Westbrook, and like y'all seen how that played out, right? Because it was like they thought that was going to be the missing piece for them, and then they traded away a couple pieces that was a huge part to that championship team. And look how that played out for them in the long run, right? And maybe that's not the fairest comparison because at the end of the day, Russ is not Giannis, especially at that point of his career when they did make that deal. But it's something to mention, right? And then you think about, a team like Phoenix who, made it as far as they did, right? Made it to the finals. But then after, having that off year, the following season, they go out and they make all these extra moves. Well, I approved the KD move, but then you think about then they throw in Bradley Beal, all these other guys to the team. And then we saw what happened there, right? It all just backfired completely. So for me, I look at that stuff and it's like, if you're New York, are you trying to go through that? And it's like, I just can't imagine potentially throwing all that away for, a chance that maybe things could work out if y'all get a guy like Giannis. So,
but here's the other thing about New York, Joe. They gave a lot up for Mikal. In order to even put themselves in a position, you're talking about moving OG for picks, moving Josh Hart for picks, moving Mikal for picks, and then packaging Cat up to send over there with them. Like, it's so much work they would have to do to even put themselves in a position to try that is sort of, it's self-sabotaging, because if you go to try to start putting stuff in place to put a package together, those guys are going to know about it. So it's like, once you take the top off the soda, you can't put it back on.
Right. So, like, I don't want to waste too much time because I do have one final topic to go into. But man, y'all also mentioned Tyler, and I mean, shoot, sometimes you can't let fate, destiny, or whatever you call it, come in, right? Because I always see people post pics of like players wearing, their future team's apparel in the future. I mean, look at this, bro. Like, even though he was still like in the NBA when this picture was taken, I mean, you just can't run away from destiny. Shout out to Tyler, though. Like I said, I can't take nothing for granted with him because he low-key is the Iron Man of the NBA, even though, he's well, that's actually an ironic word for me to use
The
injury-wise.
Teflon Don is what you say. He's not the Iron Man. He the Teflon Don. He the man made of straw. Shout out to
What did I call him? I called him bulletproof Tyler in regard to trade rumors, but he I ain't gonna lie, he even missed a glass on the court.
Yeah. But that's neither here nor there. He's
so he's gas station glass, like bulletproof.
Listen, but yo, if y'all watching this, bro, very good player, bro. Like, imagine what y'all had in Ray Allen,
NBA All-Star.
Yeah,
NBA All-Star.
Okay, y'all saw what he could do when he
hometown kid.
Pure hooper, like probably one of the best the game has ever seen, man. One of them ones. So I see Alex run out. I don't know what he about to pull, but while we wait for him to come in, I know. Oh wait, Kevin, you said anything you want to say? I saw the mic on mute.
Look, and it's crazy I'm about to do this. Tyler Hero is a good player, bro. Like, I think we all know that, but we just required and asked a lot out of him since he's walked into the league. Some of it has been fair, some of it has been unfair, whether it's from us or whether it's from the Heat organization themselves. Yeah. But Hero is still a good player. Please do not get misconstrued. Absolutely. I know it's easy to joke on him. It's easy to make fun of him. Is he a cone on defense? Hell yeah. There's no denying that. Can he put the ball in that orange round thing? Hell yeah. There's no denying that. So when it comes to just pure entertainment, Hero is going to put butts in seats, especially, as Kay just mentioned a few minutes ago, in Milwaukee, where he's originally from. Shout out to Whitnall High School. So I'm just saying all that to say it's been a minute, so I just had to get that off my chest. I do like Tyler Hero. It's been some frustrating things from both parties, both sides, in my opinion. Where it's just, I think a fresh, clean slate would do him well, if I'm being honest, especially going back home.
That's what I was about to say, Kev. I've long been like documented here, the Bis Break, anywhere I've made appearances. I don't think Tyler's a bad player. Hell, on Detroit, San Antonio, OKC, a team that has another guy that's going to command a double, meaning that ain't nobody else can be doubled. Like, Tyler will kill one-on-one coverage every single time. It's just that we're asking him, and we've consistently asked him to be a guy to go out and command a double. And I just don't think that's for him. So like I said, no, Kev, he's a really good player. And in another place, all of that potential can be reached. But I think that, like you said, the expectations, the freedom, the rope, the responsibilities, the aura that has been placed on him by this Miami Heat front office has led to some toxic things from the perspective of it's caused the fan base and the rest of the league and world to see him in this manner with which he's really not. And that's been his biggest downfall. But to your point, Cam, no, the boy can hoop. I ain't gonna front on that. Like, somewhere where they could definitely not even hide him on defense, but it's not as big of a necessity. And like you said, some of that's the Miami Heat, because it's just like the way they play. You got to play both sides for this thing to work. But like I said, teams that got guys that can cover up for you, like a team with an Oscar, and they cover up for Duncan all the time. Like, look at OKC, all them great defenders. They covering up for guys all the time because everybody can defend on the floor. So you put him in one of those systems, nah, he's gonna be really good for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But yeah,
I had a Tyler with his snarl shirt, but I couldn't find it. That was what I ran off to get.
man, listen, bro. We gonna embrace our players. We gonna do our best to love them while they here. So shout outs to Tyler while he's still wearing the Heat uniform, man. I had one last topic, but you know what? We basically an hour into this, so I don't want to take too much of y'all time because it's currently 8:13 p.m. Eastern time while we still recording. We gotta go watch some playoff hoops.
Yeah,
So
we gotta watch Detroit dismantle the Cavs.
Oh shoot! Don't spoil the
But-
score for me. See,
Oh no, that's what I'm hoping.
Okay.
I'm hoping for calamity in Cleveland so that Donovan Mitchell can ask out so that we have options.
Okay, I'm with that. So I do want to ask y'all if y'all can in
Kev
one
over there shaking his head.
if y'all got one sentence or two, what's y'all opinion on this current playoff right now? I know we've seen some stuff go down. Lakers down 3-0 to OKC. 76ers eliminated Knicks conference finals again. What else? I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything. Let's see. Cleveland, they was able to take game 3. They're down 2-1. And then Spurs last night, they lost to Minnesota. Not that series is tied. Any takeaways y'all got before we, wrap this episode up? I'll start off with you, Kev.
Man, I'll go through this fast. I've been saying since 2021, blow up that process stuff immediately. Them boys is not it. Daryl Morey, I can't wait until I get that Shams announcement that your ass is fired because you've been overrated. Your ass is garbage. James Harden been trying to spare you. I'm not a fan. I don't believe. Sixers had no business getting swept to the Knicks like that. I don't care what anybody says. I don't like the Sixers, but the fact that y'all couldn't get one game, bro, not a game, you couldn't give me one 48-minute W.
You got Oubre, you got Grimes, you got Joel, you got Maxey, you got PG, you got bro, it's talent over there, bro.
Come on, bro. So yeah, Daryl Moore, I can't wait for y'all ass to get fired. Cleveland Pistons, we'll see how it pans out. Should be a good series. Hopefully Cleveland ties it up by the time most of y'all listen to this. In the West, honestly, it's the Oklahoma City Invitational. Even though I do think, I honestly still feel like either Minnie or San Antonio can give them issues. I know the Spurs have had more success in the regular season, but this time of the year, I think I trust Minnie to do it a little bit more, even though it's hard for me to put my faith in Julius Randle. But we'll see how that series pans out. I think that's gonna be a hell of a series, so we'll see. But all in all, man, to me, it's been a real fun playoff. You've seen new stars emerge like Cade and a few other guys, and you see the Spurs starting to ascend and get right. Shout out to Dylan Harper because trust me, he's going to be an issue for a very, very, very long time. So as a whole, man, NBA playoffs been pretty good other than our Heat not being a part of it.
Right. And I got to say, I am rooting for Duncan. That's the one guy who I low-key would be happy to see get a ring. But yeah, I mean, I don't think they're gonna win that championship. Like you said, Kev, it's looking like an OKC invitational right now in the West, and whoever makes it out there, I mean, that's gonna be the champion, right? So, I mean, if Duncan can get his ring, by all means. I don't want him to go to the finals the third time though, just to lose. I feel like he's been through enough. But Alex, how about you, man?
I don't know if I feel like I've said this before. It's like obviously Dwayne Wade was my favorite player all time. KD was number 2 behind that. But like my second favorite team since I was growing up was always the Thunder because I love KD and Russ and Harden and all that. So I mean, I'm excited. I've been excited watching the Thunder put belt to everybody. I think the series with them and potentially the Spurs will be entertaining. I think a series with them and Minnesota will be entertaining. And I think the Knicks should beat whoever comes out of this Pistons and Cavs series. So New York is going to be on fire if they make the finals, and barring any crazy injuries, knock on wood, then OKC will be the first repeat champion since 2018.
Yep.
So that's what I got, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it on a conference by conference basis to keep it real smooth and sweet. Jaylen Brown like to burn it down, don't he? I don't care what he do. That boy gonna burn it down. That boy will burn it down. You stole my thunder, Kev. I was just about to say, nobody's gonna take it because the boy due to make 62, 65, and $67 million over the next 3 years. But Philly got to trade Joel. Like that's the only way. They got to trade him. They got to see if they can find a
Who's
sucker to
gonna
take
him? I would say who's
That's
gonna
what I'm
take him?
saying. That's why I called out his salary.
Attach assets to get off of him.
Or they're gonna have to agree to pay half the salary for every year. But yeah, you gotta trade Joel because they play a more faster, conducive brand of basketball to the other 14 dudes when he's not on the floor. Cleveland soft. I've been saying it about Mobley for a year, so it's official. That boy's soft. I mean, good player, very skilled, but that boy too soft for me. And he tried to dunk on a couple cats the other day because he read the tweets. Everybody calling him soft, but he's still soft. Charmin soft. Like y'all said, Cleveland too soft. Detroit ain't got enough offense. K got to stop turning the ball over at the most inopportune times. Unfortunately, Knicks probably will end up in the finals. I don't think they could beat whoever they're going to play out west, though. And that's why I go to here. I need Ant-Man to let his nuts hang all over these remaining two competitors because I hate Oklahoma City and San Antonio. They too good, and they know they're good, and they arrogant about it, and I don't like it. Somebody got to beat them fools.
You funny, bro. But let me say this too real quick, Joe. My bad.
Mhm.
I just want to say shout out because I should have said this earlier. Shout out to Max and Duncan, man. I said it to y'all in the group chat like last week. I think watching them battle it out. It's crazy watching them in different jerseys doing their thing. But shout out to the former Heat boys out there doing their thing in the conference semis where they used to being at and going further.
The fact that they going band for band too, that's the crazy part. And I think to myself, I'm like,
wow, is it crazy or do we know where they come from? And this is what we like. What you mean?
I mean, it's like we used to have both of them on one team, bro. It's like, wow, man. Like, what?
Are you sure we had them on one team? Because I don't think Spo knew that.
I mean, I just wish Strus, showed up like that in the 2023 finals, but it's neither here nor there, man. We can't.
Don't remind me.
I will say this about Max, though, and it's something I used to say all the time. Underrated defender, had a ton of more game than people gave him credit for, had a lot of bounce, swagger. And, you seeing that. Like, that last play on Cade in the last game, the steal off the inbounds, my God. I mean, come on, dog. Like, that's nuts. But anyway, shout out Big Max, man.
For sure. So before we wrap this episode up, is there anything y'all want to say before we put a bow on this?
When you get to Miami, Giannis, you got to check out Tootsie's, and I'm going to show up. You know what I'm saying? We going, me.
And keep that
around the bay.
That's explicit content.
I know, right? We got some good churches here too, Giannis. Like, check out them stuff first, bro. Don't come on, bro. Like,
well, you go to Tootsie's on Saturday and go right to church on Sunday.
All right, we got.
Don't even take a nap. You go in there smelling like lemon pepper and breast milk.
No, let me say this because this is a direct shot to Joel and a good portion of the Heat fan base. We not doing none of this depressed stuff no more, bro. The Heat are going to get a star. Whether it's Giannis, whether it's D. Mitch, it don't matter. The Heat are going to get a whale. We putting all our money on Andy Ellisberg, Pat Riley, the Simons, everybody involved. We are going to get a star, bro. On my mama. It's going to happen. Y'all going to be happy. We're going to go into next season with a fresh new focus. Spo going to look re-energized. Bam gonna look re-energized, and we're gonna get this thing rolling back where it needs to be, and we're gonna be back in the conference finals sooner rather than later. I promise y'all.
Amen. And hey, one more thing to add on to that: the Warriors are gonna trade Jimmy, and the team that gets him, they gonna buy him out, and he gonna end up back in Miami. So it's gonna be a great reunion.
Well, the first two parts of that are extremely accurate. The last part is.
Listen, man, we being upbeat right now, okay? Pat gonna get on the phone with Jimmy. He gonna be like, "My bad, bro. I was tripping." You know, Jimmy gonna be like, "My bad, bro. I had a lot on my plate too."
You
They
know,
go,
Jimmy's not gonna answer that call.
come on, bro. Listen, man. You know what? They both low-key got the same energy if you think about it. So, you know, they're gonna be like, "My bad, bro. We was tweaking. You know, let's come back, let's run it back, and let's go win this championship with Giannis. And it's gonna be great." Jimmy, Bam, Giannis, they finally gonna all get their ring together, and it's gonna be a great story. All right. That's what I have written. You know, that's what I'm gonna put out there. So yeah, Jimmy, Bam, Giannis, they winning the championship.
Well, I
next year.
will say this though, Joe, before we go. I'm glad that you can acknowledge that. With Steve Kerr signing that 2-year extension and them saying they're going to go all in to maximize their roster around Steph, it would not shock me if Steph is the only, like, you know, Steph is the only pillar type guy. Like, I could see Draymond being gone. I think Jimmy's absolutely gone. It's going to be an interesting scenario out there in Golden State.
Yep. But yeah, so with that all being said, man, you know,
Best break coming.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So with that all being said, man, thank y'all so much for tuning in to today's episode of Heat vs. the World. Make sure to follow all of us on Twitter, KK_said_K, Alex at _Coach Lewis1, Kev on Twitter at KevLuke the THA great, and make sure to follow Heat vs. the World on all platforms at HVTW Podcast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Great content headed y'all way. Biscayne breakdown, our hockey content too. Shout outs to the Rat Trick Report and so much more headed y'all way, man. So shout outs to all of our folks listening, and man, we gonna enjoy the goods and the bads, bro. And overall, man, God bless y'all. And Giannis, hopefully we'll see you soon, bro. All right, let's do this. And with that being said, hit my music because we out.
behind my back.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time with a brand new episode of the Heat vs. the World podcast.